Thank you. Oh, good evening, everybody, and welcome to December. My goodness. We are well on our way. I'd like to call the meeting to order, 6 o'clock. This is the Waterways Commission meeting on December 3rd, 2025. Thank you for coming. Happy to have you. We will start off with our statement of commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Scituate Waterways Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. Hey, Stephen. We ask that all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's a disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcomed and respected. We ask that our committee members and all who participate to commit to these standards to support and respect our community. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? I guess we'll do a roll call vote. Let's see.
I don't know who moved.
Murray moved.
Murray,
Kelly.
and Kelly. You're welcome, Katie. For anybody that doesn't know, that's Katie Baxter. She's going to be our recording secretary down there. We also have our select board liaison, Susan Harrison. Nice to see you.
You all.
Thank you.
We have one of our members who's remote, so we'll be doing roll call votes if there are any votes that are being taken today. So we'll get back to that as we're in the middle of this for just accepting our agenda. Brian Kelly.
Aye.
Brian Cronin.
Aye.
Rick Murray.
Aye.
Stephen Moan.
Yeah.
Howie.
Here.
And David.
Here.
Oh, and I see TJ is back there. TJ, good evening.
Good evening.
Are you our agenda? Thank you so much. Dave says aye. That passes. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from November 15th? I sent them out. I had one comment that came back. That was from Brian. That was changed. If I'd entertain a motion to accept the agenda for the minutes of November 15th.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second, Kelly.
Any discussion? Hearing none. We'll go back to Brian for motion to approve Brian Kelly. We have to
Aye.
thank
Sorry.
you. That's okay. Brian Cronin.
Aye.
Rick Murray. Aye. Stephen Moan. Howie Kritzenberg. I'm sorry I have to look over my back. I'm sorry about that. TJ.
Aye.
And David Zinkowski.
Aye.
David Deneen. The ayes have it. Thank you, everybody. Chairman's report. There was no correspondence that I've seen. So chairman's report. The big thing that's happening is this weekend I hear from some elves that Santa's coming to town. And we're very fortunate to have Assistant Harbor Master Mike Pierce here to talk a little bit about what's happening on Saturday. You want to give us a heads up, please, Mike?
This year we added a few things. We've got TJ's going to be coming with this radio station going to be broadcast tomorrow. We also added a food truck. It's going to be there this year as well. Ashland Farms coming out of East Bridgewater. We're also going to have an MC this year as well. It's going to be the same gentleman that was here from Duck Drop. We're familiar with that. Through a big crowd, got a great guy, audience, played some music and really good crowd. Been doing a bunch of social media posts and really getting it out there. A lot of positive feedback. Making a little bigger event this year.
What are you expecting for crowds?
Every year it keeps getting bigger. Honestly, it's like they start lining up the pier to the back flows. Try to make a couple of passes of different brands and slow down. Just that many just people.
Yeah, looks like the weather's going to cooperate. Be a little chilly, but should be a lot of fun. Well, thank you and Stephen for organizing that year after year. If anybody has the opportunity to get down there and hang out and come and watch Santa come in, happy to see everybody there. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Stephen, Harbor Master's report.
Marinas obviously closed, but the ice was out. We got patrol boats in, police boats in on the inside with us as well. Unit 1 will be coming out of the water after Santa arrives. Anybody have any questions on any of that?
Nope.
The shoulder seasons. They total about $22,679. $11,340.50 was in the spring. Approximately 5,000 was from the scalp fleet. In the fall, it was $11,338.50. Shoulder season. Any questions?
Yeah, did we? I mean, time flies when you're having fun. I guess I had forgotten that we did a recreational shoulder season in the spring. Was that widely announced? Or
Yeah.
We did that, okay.
Mhm.
I thought we'd only done it in the fall, so, all right.
No,
Yeah, so we have,
but it was at 50 cents a foot instead of $1 a foot.
yeah, so we have a full year.
Yeah, so it was approximately the same amount.
It's about 20,000.
If you look at it, you take out scalp fleet,
Yeah,
brings it down to about $6,600. Oh, yeah, about $6,300.
for that one, but
For that one.
for the
And then-
annual is about
and then-
15, right? 16.
And then, so at 50 cents a foot, if you double it,
Yeah.
you're at that $11,000, so. About the same, shoulder, both ends is about 11 grand.
Both ends about 11, so it's
Yeah.
a total of 20,
Yeah,
roughly.
22,679.
Yeah,
And that was also, it was one of those short notice, one of those
Yeah.
challenges where the Jericho parking lot was getting reconstructed.
yeah.
So that sort of messed up a lot of people if they wanted to get in earlier.
I'm anticipating that would be a minimum.
We actually got a lot of people in earlier too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's a minimum, probably. If
Pretty
we
good.
continue, yeah, okay, cool. Thanks.
So total shoulder season and summer, we did $66,985.50 on transient dockage. Do you have any questions, any thoughts?
Transient moorings?
I didn't break them out that way.
Okay. I'm curious on how much that,
So that's all transients.
That's all transient.
oh, that 66 is all transients, dockage and moorings, and the majority is dockage, but.
Yeah, the moorings are $40 a piece, the dockage is $3 a foot.
Susan?
My question, do you have it broken out by month? I'm curious.
I don't.
Okay.
I just had,
Could you do that in the future?
sure,
Thanks.
It's only 2 months, right? It's May
It's
1st to May
basic, yeah.
15th and October 15th to November 1st, right?
No, this is.
No, we're
My
transient.
all year,
apologies.
all year,
You,
all summer.
you are, I was wrong.
So if you take the $22,000 out of the 66,985. That's what we do for the 5 months
Of,
of the summer.
Summer.
Right.
Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
John Murphy.
Sorry, John.
477 Black Road. Just asking how this, is there an increase from last year, Stephen, on that?
Yes, there is. Yeah,
Bigger than annual.
so there was 22,000, about, actually, not 22, about $17,000 increase because of the shoulder season, and then each year we've gone up on the transient dockage. People are actually calling us, not everybody. It would be great if everybody called us and told us that they were gonna be out of town, so we could actually rent their slips, because it does make a difference in our bottom line.
so in 25, it was almost 46,000 or over 46,000, Stephen, and so 33,000 from the prior year. So a significant increase, as Stephen's pointing out.
Mhm.
good.
Well, any other questions on that issue? Are we to the point where do you have a decision on whether you want to continue this program into 26
What program?
shoulder season?
We are continuing it. That was already put in place.
Very good. Thank you.
The only thing that would change it is if they change the length of the season. The boating season, which would impact shoulder season
Yep.
income
No, that's a good point. Thank you.
substantially. Any other questions?
all set on that, I guess. Thank you.
Harbor dredge update. Still waiting on the Army Corps. They supposedly got back to work. The Woods Hole Group has reached out to them this week, and we're waiting for a response from them. But I put in an upgrade to my Coast Guard license, and it's about 90 days before you'll even hear anything, so. That's what they told me today.
Mhm.
Anything on the harbor dredge? Any questions?
Nothing new. Thank you.
Stephen, yes, I did, so I believe Leslie from Woods Hole indicated it was what, about 2,000
Yards,
yards, right? Estimating,
No.
cubic
cubic yards.
15,000 cubic yards.
cubic yards.
15.
15,000 cubic yards.
Thank you.
And that was what she had estimated originally, so. Scituate Marshfield, South River Dredge Grant. Contract, I was contacted by Seaport Economic Council. They asked me to fill out the pre-contract document, which I sent over to them. They then, and they said to include the cost, Marshfield's portion. They sent the contract back over to the town of Scituate. Jim Boudreau signed it. I returned it to the Commonwealth. They received it. We're waiting for their signature on the contract. So, because Marshfield became an MBTA community, they gave them their money as well, but they wanted us to do the contract. Once that's complete, Mike is starting on an RFP, and I'm working with Paul Scott on some language as well.
Stephen, we're still estimating 1.5 on that?
Probably 2, but I'd rather be high and come in low than low, and you guys say, why was it, you said 1.5, now it's 2.
To Brian.
I'm good.
Okay. Any other questions on dredging the rivers?
That's all I had.
Very good.
I do have the language for the moorings. You want to do that now?
Yeah, just before that, can you just give us an update? Last month, there was some discussion about the pier hoist update. Can you just give us an
Pier hoist
update on that, please?
It's condemned.
Yeah.
I have a document from American Crane and Hoist out of Boston. They're the ones who inspected. They came down, tapped around. That little hole is a big hole. So it's not just a weak hole. And they did an estimate for me. And digging up the pier, putting a concrete pad or footing or foundation, whatever you want to call it. Putting in a jib hoist, model 600 BPM CBW, whatever that means, 2,000 pound capacity, 2,200 degree rotation, base plate mounted, new footing with stainless steel anchor bolts, galvanized finished, electric ACH winch, 100 feet per minute, hoisting speed, variable frequency drive, stainless steel enclosure, electric brake, 2 mass mounted LED floodlights, removal of condemned and crane and delivery and installation, $135,000.
Good.
Anybody wants that? I have a copy of it.
Question, Paul Manning, 64 Moreland.
Yeah.
Aren't there 2 cranes on that pier?
There's 3.
It's 3.
3.
This is the condemned one. The third one that was, when they were building the new or redoing the pier, they were putting in the new cranes, and they left one of the old cranes in service. So they continued to leave it in service. It's now at end of life. So the 2 new ones are fine.
Yeah.
They have, we make repairs to them on occasion, line, pulleys, winches, motors. But this is an old crane. and the north side about halfway into the pier.
So is there a need for three?
Uh,
If you ask any of the commercial fishermen, they say, yep.
I know one,
You know one, yes, we know one.
Stephen, quick question. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Paul, you done?
Paul, you good?
Follow up, at one point, I heard there was a crane over in the Marine Center and that was taken down and there was some discussion with sailors that it would be available for sailboats if they wanted to step the mast. Is it?
At the Maritime Center?
don't know any. don't know
Maritime
anything
Center.
about
Never
that.
heard
Howie?
of that.
The only thing we agreed to over there was the ability to launch small sailboats. We agreed as part of the contract we have. So that we used to have a sailing fleet, I guess, on Wednesday with smaller boats. And they had the ability to launch those boats via crane, which we never installed, and then take the boats out of the water when they're done. That's what I recall.
How many years ago was it?
It's gotta be 2008, right?
Before my time.
Yeah, the idea was so they could dry storage and launch them in on Wednesday nights for racing, but it never really came to pass.
You think they are Fort Adams down in Newport?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the demand just wasn't there. Which came to show. So with this crane, so has this been communicated to the gentleman that brought it to our attention?
Yes,
You talked to Dave?
I got this tonight, so I've not communicated this to David. I
Oh.
talked to him about having the company come down.
Mhm.
Having them go through it.
Yep.
Called them the day after.
right, I know you guys spoke.
You jumped right on.
They came down, they investigated,
Mhm.
they since came down 2 more times and then they came down a third, or
Okay.
4th time yesterday.
Yeah.
So David probably does not know. Is it something that you can reach out to him, just give him the heads up?
No problem.
Susan? I'm sorry.
Thank you, Susan.
But
See you. Thank you very much. Whether we do it or not is secondary to my question. Question is, when we do the dock rehabilitation project, is this crane in an area that requires rehabilitation work?
yes,
And if so, would we have to remove it and then reinstall it as well?
well, I'd probably advise doing it all at once and I think you get a better price on the crane itself. Because the contractors are there, they're gonna
Yep.
be, doing some work in the parking lot itself. It's like
Them in as a
anything
sub.
else, you can do it 3 times or you can do it once.
Sure, but when we do the dock rehabilitation, we don't know what it is. We have to, obviously, this is a study, and then we have to find out whether or not below water lines are severely compromised, and if so, obviously, it's a much bigger project,
Mhm.
which then we have to go get a grant. Where I'm going with this, it's not going to be a short-term solution to do the remainder of the rehab project, whereas it would be obviously if we put another crane in. So putting a crane in now, if we did something like that, not advocating it, we would then more than likely have to remove it and reinstall it, correct?
Probably.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know for sure, you're asking,
I know.
I don't have a crystal ball, but,
Okay, I have a feeling we probably would, depending where the location is. Thank you, Susan.
The exact same question with one addition.
Come on.
With one addition,
what's that?
is there also a market if you say bought it and then, is there a resale market for these sort of things? Could one option remove, install, or
An
if
auction.
you need something else, could you then resell it?
We can auction anything off,
Yeah,
what
it's
we-
just what
what
you're
we
gonna
would,
cover.
what we would recover.
Yeah, we don't know that.
And
I mean,
I don't think it's a giant market,
Yeah. I mean, we definitely, the town as a whole does, when we need things, when we know there's gonna be a larger project. And you still need a little part of it, and I'll give an example of Hatherley School, we have a temporary playground, that we're only gonna have a temporary playground for a couple years. But we thought it was important during the 2 years for kids to play. So we may make the same decision where we think it's important for 2 years for the fishermen to have access to.
that's the
this. So
town's
It's
decision.
kind of like but then we know, right, that there's either a resale market for the playground that we bought, or there's not, and that's just the cost.
Yeah, I
I
don't,
was kind of looking at it that way, is.
I could actually ask the commercial fishermen. How they, do they really think
Yeah,
it's
like, what is the
necessary?
need,
Is
right?
it gonna,
Right.
like, impact their business where they just stops commerce? Or is it something that, you know, a couple of people are interested in?
Okay,
I think that's a better route. Start at least,
I agree. Like, how much would it impact this?
right?
Yeah, if you could get that information and bring it back to us next month would be really important.
Do my best.
That's all. That's a busy time of year. Appreciate that. Fran,
Has that rain been disabled, so it cannot be used?
It's, the power's off on it, yes. And it's locked up.
any other questions on the hoist?
Yeah, that would be great if you could poll the fleet. Thinking
Yeah.
about what you just said, because we know one member is very passionate and which is very important to factor in, but it would be, and maybe that's enough, right? But it would be interesting to see how wide and deep the desire is.
I also have an understanding, and this is not just from one member, but a couple of folks that I've talked to in the fishing community, that the fear that if it is disabled and taken away, they'll never get it again. So it's not so much. I don't know that, it could be that they need it now, but also it could be that if it's gone, they fear that there'll never be one there. So if there's assurances, I guess there's kind of like a couple questions, right? Like, is it okay if there's assurances that will be free? So it's kind of like a different,
Yeah, that's
that's
a
how I
good-
think it's like,
Sure.
maybe more of a conversation.
I could ask it,
Ask them both.
how important it is,
Right,
you know, now,
now,
how important it actually is at all.
right,
Because what if 98% of them say it makes no difference?
right.
But to address that concern, I mean,
So I just
They're
asked them
gonna-
3 questions.
Right.
but to address that concern, which I understand for sure. I mean, if we're gonna be doing a multi-million-dollar project to rehabilitate that pier,
Hopefully not.
but it's gonna cost money.
It's not gonna be $135,000, I can guarantee.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I
it's
would
not.
be, I'd be fine with committing in writing to saying part of that rehab will include a new,
Well, why don't we
Whatever
find
helps.
out if they want it?
yeah.
You know, if, you know. Are we doing it for?
Yeah.
for 2 people or 3 people, or are we doing it for, 50 per, half of them, or are we doing it for all?
Yep, right, but what Susan's saying is true, they might tell you it's totally necessary, even if it's not,
Right.
because they're afraid of it being taken away, so you can mention to them that we'll commit in writing. To making sure it's on there during the rehab. So,
Okay. Well, great. Thank you, Stephen.
Mhm.
Mooring rules and regulations definition.
So mooring rules and regulations definition, commercial fishermen. Was a change made, in the bylaw. Is, town bylaw actually has the actual definition
Mhm.
for commercial fishermen. And it brings true to the commercial fishermen that are actually working as in that industry. And it's commercial fishermen, an individual holding a federal or state commercial groundfish, lobster and or scallop license whose principal means of employment is fishing and the sale of catch. We have a lot of people getting, going on the commercial fishing wait list because they have maybe a tuna license, commercial federal tuna license.
Mhm.
Because they go out and catch 1 fish a year and they want to go on that wait list because it's much shorter than the regular wait list. So, I mean, Scituate was born on the fishing industry, the commercial fishing industry. And it's right in the bylaws, and I think the definition should be changed in the mooring rules and regulations to that exact definition.
So if I get this correct, according to the current local bylaw, that's the definition, and you want to just update the
Mooring rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Just to mirror
What does it currently state, Stephen?
it. It talks about a limited entry permit,
Thank you.
and they're actually changing striped bass to limited entry and some other species of fish, to limited entry.
Wouldn't the bylaw supersede the
It
regulation?
does, but this would just,
Confusion, yeah, yeah.
this just simplifies it.
Susan, go ahead.
I thought we changed the rules and regs that include aquaculture.
We did, but we don't have any agriculture areas here, and we're not in control of any moorings over in Cohasset.
Yeah, but why couldn't, if they're fishing in Bassins, have a mooring in Scituate Harbor? Or, I mean, I don't,
They-
or the North River, I don't, if that's what they want. What if their house is closer to the North River?
We'd have to change the bylaw though.
Okay, I guess.
So I'm
that's
just
what
trying-
I thought we changed the regulations, but I guess we should have changed the bylaw too.
Well, and it should read that, and if you want to do aquaculture, could you commercial fishermen, an individual holding a federal, state, commercial groundfish, lobster, and or scallop license, or who has a town of Scituate aquaculture license. Aquaculture license.
Steven, can you pass those out to,
That.
But I think now we should just change it to this, so it mirrors it, and then we can go to town meeting and change it completely.
So wouldn't it make more sense for the bylaw to get changed to include the aquaculture that we're talking about, so we don't have to change this twice?
well, one of the things that we have,
You're right, but this is just, I mean, that's.
I'm just looking to get more rules and regulations, because the commercial wait list is getting longer and longer. And there's it's really hurting some people that really,
so these are the current bylaws, correct?
Okay.
Town of Scituate bylaws, yes.
so just cleaning things up.
So right
Can
now,
you, give one to Howie as well, please?
right now, Stephen, the mooring rules and regulations say commercial. In parentheses, fishing vessel means, and that's the only reference under definition, because I just happen to have a copy of them.
You carry that around regularly?
I
don't
do,
you?
yes.
Good.
Is there another one?
So
Right there. So that's what you're looking to change?
fishing vessel
Um,
is commercial fishing.
can I call on, Nick, who is the chairman of the bylaws committee in town to, are you, aware or are you familiar with, these bylaws?
I got them up to town bylaws.
Section, but by heart right now.
No, has this, I know you're constantly going,
What's a spin diver?
I know that, your group is always looking at the bylaws.
Yeah.
Is it something that, are you meeting for the end of the year that you're able to take a
Limited
peek
entry
and,
fishing permit.
Yeah, that's.
It's your thought?
On the 11th.
okay,
Bylaw.
well, there's a little bit of, homework.
It's incorrect.
Yeah, but right now I don't understand the homework.
This is
Is
incorrect.
someone proposing change
This,
or?
But we
Hang on
should
a
have
sec.
aquaculture in there as well, right?
but you gotta go to town meeting to change.
My point is, why would we change this twice? Why don't we first have them change it, and then we change ours?
Yeah.
I think,
Or you telling me it was something short term?
Short term,
Okay, fine.
that's
Gotcha.
all. Just trying to do something short term.
I'm
so
with
that we
you.
can
I'm with you. I'm not fighting it.
Clean up the list,
Are you looking for us to take a vote on this?
and then you can remove this wording and just leave town of Scituate aquaculture. Right, or aquaculture,
Give it to our wordsmith, the doctor at the end of the table?
If someone can give me what we would like to change it to? And bylaw committee can look at.
I honestly think you have, if this is the bylaw. And then the regulations came from your website, I think you just have wherever I got this, the mooring regs from, it just goes into the bylaw. I think you just have this one is incorrect, if that's what's correct.
okay, I just have to correct it.
You have to update that. And then I think we need to, and then I think we need to add the aquaculture.
Well, I'd like to.
So I would move, I'd move that the harbor master update the
Mooring rules and regulations.
mooring rules
To
and
reflect
regulations to
the bylaw.
reflect the definition of commercial fishermen
In the town bylaw.
in the town bylaws in section 309000 waterways.
Okay.
That's the motion.
Do we have a second Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Sorry to get my cheat sheet. Bear with me. I buried it again.
Could I ask just one question, so I understand, excuse me? Are the people requesting to get on the commercial fishing mooring list that we don't think we want on there? Is that the issue?
What's happening is you have a 35-foot center console boat or a 50-foot,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And you have a tuna permit, you're taking one tuna a year. You wanna take a mooring away from a guy
Yeah.
that's his.
So
his
that kind of an
That's
individual,
how
Yeah.
he makes his.
It's an end around.
I got it, that's what I want to understand, so we wanna keep it to this
Correct.
and restrict to only these
Our,
individuals.
our commercial guys.
Thank you, okay, yeah.
I have a second motion coming after this one to address the aquaculture.
Yeah, that's fine.
What if, and then playing devil's advocate, what if you have someone who does have, I don't know, a tuna license and that's what they make their living?
That's not what the bylaw said, and they'd have to come forward and try to get it changed.
Well, doesn't it say whose principal means of employment,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
right? That's,
But it's actually, it doesn't say,
on what you want it to be, it says whose principal means of employment
I
is.
mean, they'd have to,
Go ahead, Susan.
It-
No, I'm just trying to I'm trying to understand because like the commercial fishing industry changes, right? And we want to make sure that we're supporting people that it is their life. Whether it's
Mhm.
catching tuna or swallows or growing oyster, right?
Great.
growing.
So
I
I voted yes.
have that in.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I
Okay.
given that.
I'm just more trying to understand. I totally get it.
I just-
Someone like bought one tuna and they're like, you know, like.
Even if,
That's
they
not
go out and that's.
It's recreational, look, and I think that we're trying to understand what the difference between recreational and commercial is. I'm trying to make sure that we're understanding that there is a very changing nature of the fishing industry and making sure that we're truly getting at the people
And-
that are making their livelihood on the water.
And it goes back to, the commercial fisherman that's going out and getting striped bass. He's getting, 20 striped bass, he brings them into the town pier. I don't think he's making his living on, a couple $100 of striped bass at, 20 cents a pound.
No.
I think it's more, at that point, it's recreation with a commercial license to, pay for the day out on the water.
So this is more procedural. Let me just, is everybody good? Or at least for now, at least for this
We're not-
piece?
I'm just saying,
Discussion.
Very good. So we've got a motion, we've got a second. We'll go to Brian Kelly. All right, thank you, Brian Cronin,
Aye.
Rick Murray,
Aye.
Howie Kretzenberg,
Aye.
and then my guys, TJ,
Aye.
Dave Sinkowski.
Or not, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up, Dave. There we go. Dave, aye, so that passes. Thank you.
even-
Steve, oh, I'm sorry, Stephen, you're putting the one out there and I forgot you. So,
Rick, you have a second one?
Rick,
Well,
you
was there
want,
a vote on that?
we voted on the first
Okay.
one, so the second, so you would want to discuss.
Yeah,
a
I'm not
little
sure
bit
it
more?
needs to be a motion, but if we want to have it for posterity and give it some month, it could be a motion, but I think we should put together a very small committee consisting of like the harbor master and one member of the waterways to look at the definition of commercial fishermen in the bylaw and just make sure it is reflecting the current and foreseeable future of commercial fishing.
Maybe I'll ask Kevin Norton.
Yeah.
And, Dave Haley,
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and
And specifically,
somebody from the shelter, how's that?
yeah, no, but just specifically, specifically,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Larry Trowbridge instead of, maybe Larry, because he does lobster
Hey, Larry.
and both.
Yeah.
How's that?
He qualifies.
That'd be great. And I would just, my own personal view, not related to what I just said as a process, but I'm very interested in making sure that the phrase of something along the lines of principal means of employment is fishing,
It's hard to,
acquisition, and sale of catch, that be retained.
yeah, but it's hard to,
I know,
what am I gonna ask for, a W-2?
no, I know, but at least that's an enforcement issue as opposed to spirit issue, so I really like that principal means. I think
It's always been there, this
Yeah.
bylaw's here
Yeah.
long before I got here,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
and we looked at it and added the.
I think it's great.
this Aquaculture.
Yep.
Because we thought we were gonna be over there.
Yep.
With our mooring field.
So just if you could take a look at that, I think. Sense of the board, if we have the harbor master and the people you mentioned, take a look at that and get back to us on that.
Sure.
But in the meantime, the motion. Carries.
Yep.
Does the selectmen have to vote on that? Select board have to vote on that?
Did we make a correction to the
Yeah.
bylaws?
Oh, yeah.
No, the bylaws,
No.
yes, but no,
No.
but the earlier motion, just aligning the waterways rules and regs with the current bylaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I remember voting on the article.
Okay,
And then by law, we would also vote.
I know you did
And-
bylaw.
It was town meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, but in the meantime, though.
Right.
In the meantime, though, the rules and regs don't have to go to town meeting.
No, just the same.
Open right now.
Yeah, open just now.
Just open last night.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm talking about the rules and regs only, not the bylaw.
Peanuts?
Then yes, select board is only.
Correct, but not town meeting.
I can ask Nancy for a placeholder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, easily, we put a place.
All right.
That's sort of a quick one.
Are we good?
There's inconsistency with our.
Okay, so there's two action items. One is bringing this change in the rules and regulations to the board of selectmen.
Mhm.
And a second independent action is a placeholder on the town meeting warrant
So this
for a
can be-
potential,
This could be next
Potential-
week.
yeah. For a potential bylaw revision.
So Dave, you wanna bring that to the select board next week?
Yeah, I mean, we've got
2
enough
weeks.
going on in my 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
16th.
The rules and regs.
Yeah, this is
It's
that's a
one-
pretty
it's
quick one.
One line, you know.
Yep. If you can put together something and we can get it over to Sherry.
Just mirror of that.
Yep, and I think what you'll need to show that, you'll need to show the current version of the rules and regs
The red line.
and with a red line.
Okay.
And that way they'll be able to look at, see the inconsistency and the change to get everything even. Great. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
What
Thank
is the,
Hmm.
what's the status of the regrid project that was discussed last night at the board meeting?
There was documents that I thought I had put into the package through ClearGov that didn't get in. I sent them to Jim Woodrow last night, Nancy Holt, and to Susan, has since been sent out to CP Capital.
Capital.
Got them last night as well.
Yeah, and I can update, Capital did vote, a no vote on
Yeah.
it, however, we talked to them last night at the meeting and they said they reconsider it with additional information, there were a couple. No votes that Capital made on not just this project,
Yeah.
I think there were 2 or 3, and they made the no vote, not because they didn't. Agree with it, but they didn't think the documentation was robust enough.
Yeah.
So, there was.
And mine wasn't without
reconsider.
the documents I had, because
About the
For
regret?
various reasons.
I thought I had
did last month.
attached it or, you know, it was a software, I don't know, but I thought I had put it in. Everything else went on.
But the select board did not vote on any of the capital items because we haven't finished all the budget hearings for the departments and we tend to want to understand. Why the departments are putting forward these capital items, so the select board would vote toward the end of it, toward the end of our budget project, right before the town meeting. So we're going through all budgets in December.
Mr. Murray.
So. Memory is foggy, not sure, maybe I missed a meeting, maybe not. But I do recall the Waterways Commission discussing potential regrid. It was a meeting, I was sitting over there and it was a horseshoe shaped table.
Oh, you
That
remember.
one, but was that the last time we discussed it? Because we didn't have any figures, we didn't
It's in
have,
there.
But we still don't, all we have is
we didn't have the
engineering
previous,
figures.
we didn't have the previous
Yeah.
report at our disposal.
Right.
We didn't have, and we had said we were gonna discuss it. But now, and again, maybe I'm just trying to learn where things are.
Hmm.
I'm learning this was talked about at Capitol.
Yeah.
Howie, you said it was talked at the select board
It went
as
on my
well,
capital
or
plan.
was it Capitol?
It's like the capital planning group was at the select board's meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so that's one and the same, so.
Just so you know, Paul Scott went down into the archives.
Yeah, yeah. You found it?
He did,
Great.
from 1975.
Huh?
I spoke to
No, there's a more recent one.
Carlos Pena
Yeah, yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah, what did Carlos say?
and Carlos said that they talked about it, but there was never a plan put together. He and Mark talked about it, and there was some discussion, about putting some floats on moorings.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that you could have
Yeah.
boats side by side.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it went,
Okay.
according to Carlos
Okay.
Pena at CLE, Bob engineer.
No, Carlos would know.
Yeah, yep.
So
Carlos would
nothing
know.
was done. There's some old,
No wonder. I
Paul
couldn't
Scott
find it.
believes that Howie
Wonder
had
Mike
some
couldn't find
photos, some photographs taken. So that they weren't really
Here's-
anything that was
No, Gibbons.
through the town at the time, is the way Paul understood it. And then he has these big, I don't know what kind of paper it is, but brown, and it's like aerial photos. You can't take them out of my office because Paul will kill me.
Yeah. No, okay. I could have sworn there was a report.
1975, and it started in 75 and it was completed in 78.
I know memories can be. Murph, you were on the board, do you remember?
I believe we had, we never had a full plan out. They gave an estimate of how it would save us the moorings and what we can get, the efficiencies we can get out of that.
Yeah.
Grid system. We just never spent the money to implement it, but they did, I think it was, Payne or somebody that worked for them that did the project.
Well, Carlos would have known, because he remembered talking to Mark about it. But he said there was
Maybe it
no
was just a
contract put in
preliminary.
place, there
It
was
wasn't
no,
a contract, but a lot of discussion on the estimates.
yeah, it was just
That-
discussion, it
you know,
was
but,
like a proposal.
They gave us a presentation of what it would. The efficiencies of that, what it would save the town. I'm surprised we didn't do it, but it never got pushed to a contract, but it was a lot of discussion.
Yeah, it was a proposal.
Yeah, it was a proposal.
We discussed those new type moorings.
Yeah, the rubber bands
Yeah,
and the helix.
right, we had a lot,
Helix with rubber.
that's right, we had a lot of discussion about that.
Yeah.
brought a company in to test that too, and
Yeah.
could not do it because of the ledge.
Yeah.
Couldn't get the depth.
Well, it's not exactly right, because it doesn't the Coast Guard, and
Noah,
now we use that.
No,
Yeah.
Noah has a 12,000 pound block.
Interesting. Okay. So my point though being is, I would assume that before anybody puts this into a capital plan, we'd actually study it to see if we could do it? Or was the capital plan to,
that's the
Fund
capital
study.
plan,
Yeah,
fund-
the fund
it's
study.
the fund
It was left the dock.
design and engineering.
This is going into FY 27 capital at the town meeting.
interesting.
You're bringing up a good point, Rick, because if Stephen has the documentation that didn't get to the planning commission last night, at the very least, why don't you share what the plan is that you gave to them?
Send it to you right now, Howard, and everybody else.
The discussion, we talked about light posts being near each other,
Yeah.
a lot of efficiencies. We went into that quite in depth.
Yes.
Yeah.
With those, without coils and with coils, but there were
Yeah.
a lot of efficiencies that could have been made.
Yeah.
I think we could have got like 28% more boats in there.
Yeah.
There was a big difference.
It's a big number.
Very
Yeah.
good at the hub.
Big difference around that wait list, right?
Absolutely.
Just, we did talk about regrid when we were talking about the mooring regulations back in
Right.
2015, and though I maybe was in favor of the regrid, there was a lot of pushback from the community of mooring.
Huge.
The mooring holders.
Hmm.
So it's 10-year-old feedback.
So, I'm sorry, you have any other?
Well, that was it.
Brian Kelly buying from Howard.
So the goal on this, Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we had conversations on this, is that we'll go for a Seaport grant,
Yes,
correct?
Yep.
And if we get it, we get it. If we don't, the decision to be made whether we go forward or not. But that's a phase one, so the phase two of this would be if the stones have to be picked up and moved. Right, to get all the boats over here, we may be moving stuff, stones from one inner harbor to outer harbor, back and forth, whatever the case may be.
Who would be putting the bill for it? Whether it's the
That's
mooring
that's my
holders
question,
or
because
town.
it's arguably about 400 moorings in the harbor, arguably.
Yeah.
If it's $500, $1,000
I
bucks
just sent it to you,
to
Howard.
do this, you're
Both.
talking about
Proposals.
$500,000 more in expense. So I'm just trying to understand, is what the assumption or what the consideration may be, would it be on the mooring owners or would it be on the town?
I think that's further down the road, that discussion. That decision, I don't think. You know, we haven't even figured out if we need to move anything.
Should be looked at as a total regrid cost though, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying, right?
That's
It's
what
not-
this is.
It's not just no, it's just not the 200. It could be as much as
Well,
seven.
it's right up, this is right up to construction documents,
So that again,
Right,
so they're
No, there's two boats together, who paid,
mooring holders.
right? If, I mean, there's a couple boats out there that they probably
Yeah.
should the moorings, because the boats are super close.
Hmm.
I don't know, I mean, it's a discussion, and I'm not sure that, I think your assumption that every single mooring would have to move might not be correct, so. We'll see.
To do a real regrid, they would put all sail.
Dave sent on
Right.
the, I have a bad email for, so can you forward it to him?
Inside.
right. So
So everything.
Bernie, you're more of an
Everything is
expert
gonna
on
have
this
to
than us, so what percentage of the moorings would have to be relocated?
Oh,
All of them,
oh,
yeah, I agree, right?
If we just worry about,
Let's see.
let's,
I'm just bringing
Find
up,
out.
Stephen, I'm not worried about it,
Yeah.
I'm just bringing up that it's a total cost consideration.
Yeah.
Total project cost should be looked at as not just 200,000, it could exceed $500,000, that's all I'm pointing out.
okay.
and our capital plan right now, which we're gonna get into, it's very interesting. Okay. How are you? Good?
Yes.
Okay,
You're gonna send them to us.
I will. I got it on my list. Thank you. Let's go into our 5-year capital plan.
Did you say, do we have to?
EJ.
So. We've sent one out to the members of the Waterways Committee as well as associated other folks. I think Susan, you may have gotten it. I know the Nick, I believe you got it. So Nancy and I worked together on this document. We now have hard and fast long-term debt, so we can project out what the impact of additional debt will be and therefore where the shortage would come. So put together a document which allows each of the Waterways members to be able to input their information. My thought process on this was that this will become the basis for a conversation with the harbor master to get his input in terms of what he believes should be done. And then this would go into the document that would go to the select board. So what we have here is an exercise. I'm not sure how many people were able to do anything on it. I certainly don't want to waste everyone's time by going down the road of plugging numbers in. So I'm not sure where you want me to take this, Dave.
Well, we've been through this for several months. Last month, you put together some numbers with some ideas for prices per foot for Cole Parkway, Marine Park, prices per foot and timeline for the moorings. And then even looked at some different upgrades for the waterway use fee. So I don't know whether or not anybody's had a chance to sort of look at those numbers to see how it was going to help us move forward to be able to meet our updated capital improvement projects that are coming up. The big thing is if I remember correctly, according to Brian, that in a couple of years, we're gonna need to raise an additional 100,000, and then when we get into the dredge projects on the rivers, and as well as the marina project, we're gonna need another $200,000 to be able to meet those requirements. How am I doing so far, Brian?
Great, I just needed access from Seth or Brian to be able to share my screen.
So, with that said, what we have done, with a lot of real support here from, Mr. Murray and Mr. Kelly, put together a memo, for the select board with, some rate increases. And that's what we're trying to nail these things down, and Brian has looked at them, from every different angle. And, we've received some comments from some of the members, and what we need to do is we need to come up with a solid set of numbers to be able to present to the select board. And, I spoke with Sherry the other day, and she needs to have that documentation by next Tuesday, which is the 9th, so that it gives the select board a chance to sort of review this memo that we have here. Just to go back to page 2 of the memo, this is what we had looked at as some good numbers here. The WWC further recommends the select board implement the following increases. And again, these are just something that was thrown at that makes sense, and I'm sure Brian can sort of go through those details behind me. For the moorings, $1 every alternate year from FY 2026 to FY 2032. That will also make Scituate more comparable with what other towns are charging throughout the South Shore and down to the Cape. Slip fees, increases of 10% starting in FY 27-28. Take a year off, and then another 10% increase in FY 31 and 32. Actually, it's 2 years. I'm sorry about that. And then the other one is the increase of the waterway user fee, up another $25. Again, that starts that will go every other year starting in FY 26, which we're in right now. So for this upcoming season, with those numbers, that gives us some ability to be able to function with our capital improvement plan. How am I doing, Brian?
So the memo is all ready to go. We've discussed it in a couple meetings. And there'll need to be some grammatical changes to align things with what we decide. But we got to come up with some numbers, what the new rates will be and what the following increases will be. And we need to do that to make a recommendation to the board. But the time is here and now for us to come up with whatever these numbers may be. Brian's put together a terrific spreadsheet. We can plug it in and away we go.
Plug away. I'd like Stephen's input on this. Steve and I have been meeting. So I'll do what anybody wants me to do right now, so effectively. Just a little background on this. This is all based upon annual revenue increase of 1%. Nancy was comfortable with 1.5%. I backed it down for conservative reasons. 5% on the OpEx increase year over year. Nancy was comfortable with that number as well. With that in mind, based upon the dredge project occurring in the time frame that Nancy has, that Stephen has agreed to, we would go into a negative situation in FY 28, as everybody can see right up there. So by changing rates, I'm sorry, Rick, or Dave, maybe you could give me the time frame again on those. 10% in.
Which one are you working on?
You let me slips first.
Okay, slip increases start 10% FY 27.
So in 27.
And then again in
If we do it,
31.
it'll bring in 81,000. And when are you gonna do it again?
31.
31.
Yep.
So we skip 28,
No, that's
29,
not right.
30.
You said every other year.
Yeah, the years that's why I said it needs to be corrected because the years were bouncing around.
Okay.
So it would be every other year. So do it in,
29?
yeah, 29.
For now, I'm just gonna leave it
Yep.
up in 2 years.
29.
Mooring increase,
Thirty.
$1
Yep. Starts this
$1
year.
every year or every other year.
Starts this year and then it alternates.
Okay. Oops.
You mean it starts in 27,
When you
right?
say this year. is that-
Oh, we're in FY 26 right now.
And I'd be collecting the fees for FY 26. In 2026. So I'd be collecting these fees in the spring,
Next summer,
this spring,
spring, thank you.
So,
June 30th, they have to be paid. So if it got increased, it would be now, it would be for this year.
So you're saying to increase the fees that are owed next spring?
so in this scenario.
Yes.
In this scenario, right,
Yes,
the fees would not be collected if I. By what I've been told to put in here. If we impact it in 27, it's really gonna be. Spring of 28. Correct? Spring, I'm not doing fiscal year now. So fiscal year 27 starts July
July
1st
1.
of 27.
Yep.
So all the fees have already been paid. So that the next time people will be paying, they pay the $400, whatever, but it would be April of 20.
We're in FY 26 now,
Right.
okay?
yes,
So January 1st is 2026.
That is correct.
So we collecting it in June?
yes,
Or May of 2026?
Mhm.
Or May of 2027?
Correct. The way that
Not
this.
correct.
No, 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 no,
Question.
no, no, what you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
all along, and the way that it was just said to me was 27, which means you'll be collecting it. Not this year,
For the slips.
for right now, for both. The 10%
For the
on slips
slips.
and the $1 on,
Oh, I thought
No.
you said we'd be, I
right?
said
Nope.
collecting it this year in the mornings.
that's correct, 26 for the moorings. Sorry,
Got it?
That's why I was asking.
Very good, Stephen.
it's good,
Is this enough time to get it enacted and built?
Just press a button.
yeah, it's easy,
Okay.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, I think that
Alright.
came through to the board, I think
Alright.
in January.
yeah.
Can I ask a point of reference question? You're using 10% on the slips, using $1 on mooring. Is that $1 per foot or
Yes.
$1 per boat?
$1 per
Per
foot.
foot,
$1 per foot.
And finally,
Just currently, right,
10% for, you know,
we're at $110 a foot for a resident in the town marina,
no,
110?
121 and 170 for a non-resident.
And then it's $8 a foot. More. Plus
A lot of
the
ways you use our maintenance fee.
is 125.
right, which,
Boat.
yes,
So,
and that user fee has not been increased in how many years? I know I've got it in here, I'm sorry, I don't have.
well, in 15, we did the mooring, but prior to that, I don't know, 9 maybe?
Yeah.
Sound right? 16 was moorings, but marinas have been in effect for a while.
Did it go from 100 to 125?
Hold on one second, I'm sorry, what, Franny?
125 has been 125 since the.
No. Originally, we only charged people in marinas. In 15 or 16, we started charging mooring holders. My point is marinas, I think it was 125 back in 09 or 08 or something like that.
Yeah.
For the documentation I have from Nance. Correct.
The price per boat has not gone up at all since the start.
That's correct.
Correct. It's been 125 for
Murph's correct.
non-mooring holders forever and not forever, but 09 and in 16, I think it was, it went to everybody. So where am I doing on what do you say? What year?
This year,
Okay, I'm sorry,
good,
one question. So that 10%, back to the slip increase?
Yeah.
Is that 10% in the proper year?
It's 27.
Yeah, so it's next year. Cause they just had an
Collected in
increase this year.
2027.
Oh, why not collecting in 26?
Because I was just told 27.
I know, yeah.
They had an increase.
I'm just a pilot,
last year.
just
Okay.
driving.
This
Yeah,
season.
Okay, all right.
we just increased them
Okay.
last year,
right.
Just
We increased
wanted
it
to
in
make
in 22 and 25.
Okay,
Okay,
good, thank you.
can I go back to what do you see?
yes,
Are we doing anything in that?
yes,
When,
FY 26, $25 increase.
anything else?
I think we should go bigger than that, because it hasn't been touched in 20 years.
Can we first take a look at what the input is? I mean, we can certainly do another year and this is just first run, so based upon that. I'm gonna achieve that much more revenue. Each year,
Wait,
and
wait, sorry. So that would mean column E says another $48,000
in net new revenue.
okay?
That's
And
carried down.
then the next year out,
G is 81,000 in net new revenue.
that would be on top of the 48?
Yes,
Yes,
yep. That's the
So
new
that's on
baseline.
top of the 48.
That's the new baseline, yep. So you get the 48 and the 81.
So we're getting up to like 120, whatever.
right. And understand, this is predicated on us needing. Can I go back?
100.
Uh. That,
in
if that
28.
shifts, everything shifts, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So. If we don't do the dredging. FY 28,
Right, understood.
obviously, then we don't need that money.
Mhm.
But. I'm just saying, based upon all the input that I've been given so far, this is the way it would look. Okay,
Okay,
so, as we can see. We got a problem there.
Well, that hasn't built in another increase in user fee. That's just a one.
That would give me 34 grand, 35 grand. That would give me about 35,000, so I'm still 86.
so Howie, what would you recommend on the waterways
On the user fee.
fee?
User fee, I think we should go up $50. Starting in this year. That hasn't been touched since 2000.
So that's flat fee for every boat
Yes,
I think it's equitable.
in a slip or in a mooring, river. And
It's about 1,300 users.
what does that do? If you put 50 in there, just so we can. Oh, okay.
Now, the assumption. Again, very conservative, is that. There's any drop down to retained earnings. Doesn't carry over year to year,
Yeah, got it.
okay, which is unrealistic, but again, being
Because it
extremely
does.
conservative.
Yeah.
Because it does, right?
It does carry over, but to be conservative.
Right.
Next option,
Well, problem
just
child
for
is,
snorts and giggles, what if you do 25 this year and 25 next year, so we get to Howie's 50, but we don't bang everybody in 1 year,
and then the very next year, or skip
Yeah.
a year.
next year?
My problem child is 3 years out, right?
yes,
Yeah, I just wanted to see how
Yeah.
much it propagated.
Not at all.
yeah.
So why do you do every other year? What does it do to that? It only brings you down, what did you say?
35,000.
35, yeah. So you still have a problem. I think that, I'm sorry, this,
Jen Billy, you at Six Hickory Lane. I just have a quick question. These increases that we're getting from shouldering and all the extra.
Yeah.
Does that money factor into here? So he's having increases every year for the last few years. Where does that money, like, could we forecast out that we're gonna
Yes.
be getting extra? Is that in here?
So I took the FY 26 forecast, which included that in there.
Okay, so
This
then.
includes
and
shoulder
then
seasons and.
Going forward, then we've added those increases going in.
And rent, correct,
Yep,
Brian,
Yes,
for the Scituate Boat Works?
that is correct.
So we've got three areas where we're able to get money. It's rent, it's
No,
these,
nope. There's 3 areas that we can impact:
go ahead, I'm sorry.
moorings, waterway use fee, and slips.
Yep,
Everything else, the Scituate Boat Works is contractually. We're in year 14 or 15 of it, of a 30-year relationship. There's no lever we can pull on that one.
but it's built into all this.
Right.
but it is
Everything's
built
built
in,
into this.
that's.
There's a bunch
thank
of
you.
other small stuff that's also built into this, but we don't have a lever arm, or it is absolutely in the noise.
I just was making
Yeah,
sure.
and the shoulder seasons,
Increases every year are actually being accounted for, getting that.
yeah, and shoulder seasons are built. into this.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Go ahead, David.
I'm sorry, could you ask the speaker to announce themselves? Because it's hard to follow remotely.
Sure.
Jen?
That, right. Then one more question, Jen Billy. So the question I had was, we did a straight 10% across the board on slips. That impacts both Scituate residents as well as
Non-residents.
non. So the question I would have is what percentage of the slips are non-resident
14.
and would,
14%.
13%? And would we consider a different rate increase for non-residents versus residents? Because the residents are paying a lot of other things, so non-residents are, so would we consider a higher rate increase for non-residents?
So I know Susan has a question, but if I could answer that, I think Rick and Howie and Chief Murphy certainly had experience with this. When we did have a wider rate differential, we got a letter from Howie. Who we got a letter from? Somebody at the state level,
Feds, I believe it was federal,
federal?
that if you have too large a difference between resident and non-resident, because we've accepted federal money to pay for the dredging, because it's federal money, then everybody needs to be equitable as long as they're in the United States. Because it's federal money. And so we have to keep that distance between them not too far apart.
So what does not too far apart mean? So maybe it's 15% for
Right,
non-residents?
maybe we could push it
You know?
and see if we get another letter.
It's just- Well, I'm not saying.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
saying
it's a great question.
No, it's a good question.
It's a great question.
Maybe a little more, cause on almost 15% of. You know, what's another 5% from non-residents?
Yep.
Yeah, it's somewhat negligible because you're only talking, would you say 14?
It's
14%,
But
but it helps.
Every dollar,
It helps, yeah.
Susan,
every dollar.
Perception too, right?
right,
It's not just that.
Mm.
I have a question on the slips. At one point, we talked about having different, like higher rates for, better slips, like maybe the outside slips. And having like maybe an ABC, level to slips, I guess.
So
Just going to equity, right? You've got the very larger boats and the nice slips versus the smaller boats, some of the slips aren't as, nice. We saw different towns did that, so I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that. There were a couple towns
Yeah,
that do
so-
that as well.
Yeah,
There
Like
was
that's
a
Steve asked.
request that, you made, and I actually, I counted up the bigger slips on the outside,
mhm.
and I came up to a linear feet. We came up with a number of either $20 or $30. And
907 linear feet, I believe it was.
908 and
bucks.
comes out to 18,100 for
Right.
$20 and $27,240 for $30 per foot for the outer slips. I did not do keep going and drilling down. I didn't understand you wanted that as well.
I'm just curious, the whole like.
I did do,
Yeah.
somebody else brought up that, but somebody else also talked about or called me and talked about square footage. Today, if you take a 17-foot boat, 17-foot or 16-foot bottom wheel, 16.5 feet by 6.5 feet wide. I maxed it out to 7 foot wide and 17 feet long. Comes out to it's the square footage was 119 square feet for that boat. Then I went to the gentleman, he's no longer in the marina. His boat was 45 feet long, like 15 feet wide. He was over on Sea Dock. That boat comes out to 675 square feet. So if you base what the 17-foot boat is paying at $2,057 for 119 square feet, he's paying $17.28.5 per square foot. You look at the 45-foot boat at $5,445 for 675 square feet. The 45-foot boat's paying $8 and 6.9 cents, 7 cents basically.
That makes total sense, because if you're increasing the length, that's a
So you're
one
taking
dimension and you do the square, it's gonna be a square, and so if you're only doing the calculation based on length. So clearly, if you did go to a square footage calculation, whether you could do that or
And then
not,
you still got the 125-foot charge on top of that.
correct.
So And when I spoke to the person, they said they're always, everybody talks about being, you know, like a. Town marina so that people can afford it, well. By square foot. The guy that's in the 17-foot boat is paying more than double. What the guy in the 45-foot boat is paying. Per square foot, and it's just, I'm not saying we go to a square foot charge. But it's a big number, and it's a huge number for the guy in the
Do any towns,
16-foot boat.
do any towns go by square foot?
I know a town, I don't wanna really mention the town, but they're talking about it with their moorings. Because a 50-foot boat takes up a massive swing area where a 20-foot boat doesn't, so they're
Yeah.
talking about going by square footage there as well.
I-
Hold on, Paul. John?
So just looking at it, let's just use a commercial pier on a dock, it's 200 feet there.
Yeah.
Right, you wanna get the most value out of that dock. Right? You got two 22-foot boats next to each other, the 8-foot beams, 16 feet each more, what's the width of the fingers, 3 feet? On average,
2 or 3 feet.
say the 3 feet for everything.
Yeah.
All right, so you got 8 feet, 16 feet, two different fingers, 6 feet, 22 feet for those two boats. Never mind the spacing between them. You got that space between each boat. Now you got a 15-foot boat with a 3-foot stringer, 18 feet, 22 feet. So the value isn't a linear docket.
I understand.
I'm not trying to say, I'm just making a
All
point.
I was trying to do was just.
I'm not,
make the point that
I'm Steve, I'm 100% on, just saying, the values in the linear dockage, that's what the values. You can go out with an 8-foot boat that's 40 feet long, you're gonna get a lot of money for that, you know what I mean? So the square footage, I think it's more the linear, what can you get out of that marina? Every marina I've talked to, the bigger boats are better value for them.
Yeah, makes sense.
Susan's point, bigger boats take up the bigger slips, the more valuable slips, the sought
You
out.
get better value out of it. But at that dock that you have, the value is in the dock that you have available, the long dock that you have available. Make the best use out of that dock. Bigger boats actually make sense. So.
Good,
I was
Paul.
gonna say, point of reference, the left coast, i.e. out in San Francisco. But there's a marina where they do have different rates, larger berths are at a higher dollar per foot. So there is a precedent.
It's not a no.
One of the towns did it, was it found out?
I don't know,
I don't see what it's saying.
but I was just trying to, I wasn't proposing that we go to square footage, I was just.
As far as a businessman,
Explaining it.
trying to make the most out of your dock.
Yeah.
Look at smaller, the Swift, the small, a lot less square footage for 22-foot boats. But two of them take up more space in your dock,
Hmm.
probably about 25 to 30% more.
Franny?
Plymouth is looking at changing the way they build for boats on moorings after their regrid and their dredging. Because the bigger boats obviously take up a bigger amount of space, and which been set up as a regrid, an actual engineered regrid. The mooring field is nothing like what it was in the beginning. So they're looking at charging for the actual space that that boat occupies in its complete swing.
Interesting.
That was the town.
Good, Rick.
So leaving aside changing everything to a square foot charge, which I
I'm
don't,
not saying,
I know you
Massive
didn't, I
pain
never
for me.
said, no, I never said you said it. I'm just saying, leaving that whole conversation aside. Okay. If we were to look at the outer dock at Cole Parkway and the outer dock at Scituate Marine Park. That's your 908 linear feet or whatever it is today. And if we were to charge a premium fee of what value did you suggest?
I just picked $20 and $30, just to give you an idea of what it was.
So to ease into this, if we were to recommend charging an extra $20 a foot or $20 total?
$20 a foot.
$20 a foot
18 grand.
for those of 18,000 at 20.
And it's 27,000 for 30.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
yeah.
used the numbers, that's all.
Yeah. Interesting.
John Bill, 6 Acre Lane.
some of those boats that are on the outer slips are too big to get on the inside, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're already getting more money from those guys because they're longer boats. It seems like that's their only option to be on the outer, so seems a little unfair to be charging them extra.
No,
I don't have an outer slip, but I'm just,
There's no law that says you have to have a big boat.
but we can't accommodate them, right? If otherwise.
Good job.
That's just a small.
Besides getting the most out of your linear footage, there's also parking. You want two 22-foot boats, you want a 15-foot beam, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
a 44-foot boat. You got managing people, managing complaints,
Hmm.
parking,
Yeah,
which is a
sure.
challenge now with the Maritime Center open. So there's a lot more factors into it than just saying, you know, put a square foot, whatever it is. But to get the most out of your dockage, every marine I've always said, they've always said, listen, bigger boats give me more money. If you have the room behind it. To get the most out of that, say that 200-foot. Main dock we added. So I think it's a good value. I think being fair across the board is what we've done in the past and might have to do the same going forward.
Nick.
I have a question on the spreadsheet,
Yes, sir.
which is awesome, by the way, I funded this, it was neat.
Nice job.
That's nice. There you go.
Line,
I am twisting a velvet glove here. Yes,
49,
I'm sorry. Line,
line 49, impact on suggested new revenue.
yep.
What does that mean? Does
So-
it mean we're
so like-
over what we need or below what we need?
We're over if it's positive, and if there's a negative sign, we're below it.
So just looking at some of the numbers we just put in there, why would we want to, or is it necessary to go over on one of these fiscal years?
Yes, we always want to go over.
Yes.
And have a surplus that drops down to retained earnings,
Right.
because there's
Okay.
always, every year there's unforeseen costs,
Okay, but I'm
And-
thinking if we're gonna build increases, we should
right?
build them in when we need them. Rather than too early.
So
Right?
we,
Well,
Would that
but there's
not be a
also-
philosophy?
Sure, but you're right on
Yeah.
that in the real world, but. Two things. One is, as Susan said, then there's less. Debt service downstream by being over. And then secondly, although this is conservative by not. Rolling over any retained
earnings.
earnings from year to year. Reality of it is we do roll over the retained earnings from year to year. So that works in our favor of that.
which circles back to number one, we can reduce the principal.
Yeah.
And obviously the debt service would be less. So this is just all worst case scenario.
Can't get it exactly right, like you're saying, in retained.
In return.
It's because we wanted, we
Yeah.
anticipate that we're gonna do an irrigation system and we don't wanna have to pay out
Yeah,
3 million, so
Yeah.
we're gonna only borrow.
Yeah.
for the
Yep.
Cost of the irrigation system.
Which will,
Yeah, I just can't.
You are gonna pay less
I
right.
think we need
in the
to-
long run if we save more for. our
Originals, right?
So last year we dropped down 600,000 in 1 year in retained earnings alone.
So it looks like with the spreadsheet. I realize I'm talking a lot, so as you guys throw stuff at me to be quiet, but. The spreadsheet's not working. I mean, the spreadsheet itself is working, but we're not getting the numbers we need
That's correct.
at this level of change. I would suggest we might scroll up a bit and
Okay, I would gladly
increase
do that.
further
I
or
mean,
something.
Massage it. But just quickly, I think it's Jen.
Yes,
As we do these increases between resident and non-resident, you can see the spread happens
mhm,
in future years. So that's only 10%, one 10%, and then a few years later, another one. So it goes from today being whatever that is, $49 to $60 with two. So there is a,
10% of a bigger
different.
number.
right?
So this,
These all represent the new rates, as we do these things.
The spread's
Yeah.
tighter though when you back outside slip owners, like,
I'm sorry?
I said that spread's tighter though when you factor in outside slip owners at an additional $30 a foot.
yeah, but we didn't agree to
I,
that.
that's not in this, but you're right.
Right.
Okay.
So the spread's not growing as wide as.
But if it is 30, again,
because
we
that
don't know.
Average is higher.
On the 907 linear feet, we don't know if it's gonna fall into the 86-14, 86 local, 14 non-resident. It could be 50-50. It could be 100-0. Quantifying that was really, in this short time frame, a little bit more difficult. So to go what Rick wanted,
well, I'm just not wanting,
no,
just suggesting, I mean, we're trying to get to some numbers that.
so again, assuming that we need this type of new revenue, so $250,000 spread out over 3 years. Assuming we do, and I keep on using that word assuming, because right now we have $3 million in harbor dredging. And I know I'm not gonna put Stephen on the spot, but firmly believe that that's probably a high number. I think the dredge number will be less. So, but that again, we can't just assume that and not plan accordingly.
And not
Because
have
this,
enough in case.
this could be,
Right.
this can be modified,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
This should be an evergreen model that we
Mhm.
change.
Every
Should
year
we
we
be
should
in
look
more
at this.
trouble?
Well, that's
Or
one
not.
thing that we have just,
Right.
that we agreed with the select
Right.
board earlier this year, that we'll be going to meet with them and Dave Sinkowski at least once, maybe twice a year, to just sort of review and see where we are. We have that option on an annual basis to review the fees, and if it looks like these numbers come in lower, then we can look at something and maybe not put an increase and just sort of keep level funding for a year or two. Depending on the cost of these projects. So the good thing is that now we have to just make sure that we're looking out for our future. When we get into those later dates and we have that option to sort of back off for a year or so and not have to charge, that's great.
Paul Manning, 64 Moreland. I think this confusion, you have 10% raise on one and then going by price per foot on the other. As a sanity check, if you go up $1 on the mooring, that's a 12.5% on the basis of an $8 current. If you go from the usage fee of 125 and you add 25, that's a 20% increase. And I think you got to kind of periodically do the fact or the sanity check. Do we want to really be hitting the moorings at a higher percent because they haven't had a mooring increase for a while? Or, what's the reason for that?
So the reason,
They had a
no,
more
no,
increase
no, hold on.
years ago.
So the reason for that is, we take a look at the town, we've done an exhaustive study on this, we take a look at the town marina rates and where does Scituate sit? We take a look at the mooring rates, where does Scituate sit? Right now, we're at the lowest, with the exception of Marshfield, who's low because of their high commercial base. All the other surrounding towns are at 9, 10, 11, 12.
This page.
So we're at 8. So that's our point of comparison and reference. But where are we on the flip side? We're midpoint. So we're not just looking at it as like a percentage adjustment, it's what's the real world out there, right? Out there. And the $25 increase, yeah, it sounds like a lot, but when you haven't done it since 2009, then
But to Paul's
Right.
point, it's a lot percentage wise.
it is.
It's a big jump.
It
and
is.
As it's regressive as
And-
well,
and-
when you have a
and-
17-foot
Right.
boat versus a 50-foot boat, it's the same.
And I feel you bad, my friend. I feel
That's
you,
a
my friend,
problem,
but
then I'll shut up. I do think, I'm not seeing dinghy or the dinghy dock, those fees went astronomical recently.
that's in here.
Okay, but you're not taking that up. Maybe that's nice because you just killed it last time. You hit it out of the park last time.
So a lot of the stuff is so small that it's not gonna move the needle, right? I mean, picking up $5,000 here or $6,000 there, it's very nice, but really, again, that kind of is in a 1.5% annual expense increase. So on a $1.3 million, we're expecting that our growth will be somewhere around $20,000 a year organically, with no of the 3 big buckets that we're really talking about here. So we're expecting a $20,000 increase to be happening. Combination of Scituate Boat Works and all these other transient fees and all these other things. Okay, Rick. Tell me where to go, my friend.
One other quick question, Jen Billy, 66, right?
Still.
Haven't
moved.
Jen, you don't have to, we know who you are, thank
Okay.
you.
So I would say we can keep crunching these numbers. Have you guys considered? You have a very small couple of things to get money from. Have you considered other kind of brainstormed other ideas to get income? So I don't know, again, could we run where you run events or things like?
I can tell you, last year, we looked into the possibility of trying to start charging for a lot of the out of towners when they're putting boats in and out of the water. And we wanted to look at the Jericho area. However, because we don't own and maintain that property, we are also not allowed to collect any fees for that usage. So we looked at that. We also looked at the possibility of the Cole Parkway for adding and pulling boats in and out of there. But if you're down there a lot at low tide, you can't do anything. You can't put a dinghy in there.
Yeah.
So we've looked at those. Mike Bierce, we've really tried to get more people involved in the harbor, but there's not a lot of things you can charge.
Like
And
this event we had with the boat,
down,
the harbor
yes, Fisherman's Fest.
Fisherman's Fest.
Yep.
So, or even, I
Well-
hate to say, or even the like carnival,
Mhm.
right? Are there any fees that we're charging for things like that or like the Harbor Fest?
Carnival's in the parking lot, that's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with
Well,
my apartment.
what we've tried to do with those,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I can't
Yeah,
charge.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, hello, I just want to mention that on the idea about or the conversation about charging for launching boats at Jericho, we've been through this easily 25 times, but it should be reminded because Marshfield's doing it. They also have a state ramp, and they pull in a lot of money. They have over 200 boaters who buy annual passes on top of that to launch their boats. So we could do that. But I think the answer to the question, no, we haven't exhausted all possible means to bring in money from other means. I would also, and not to pick a fight with Stephen, but about 4 years ago, we moved all the harbor master boats out to outside slips, which are, as we know, are oversized slips. Now they could be on internal slips, and you could put larger boats out there that possibly bring more money in. So I think the answer is this is an ongoing thing. It's not exhausted. We have more work to do.
And most of the events that we have been trying to produce is really, it's for the harbor, but it's also for the harbor businesses. Try to get people down and be able to see what's actually happening. And that's also been a lot of education too about what's actually happening in the harbor, and trying to give a little bit of love and support to the commercial fishermen and show what they actually do, and get a little bit of publicity for what they do. So it's been very difficult to look at various options. Yes, sir.
One thing we haven't discussed, and I don't know what the latest is because I haven't circled back to Brian in a couple days, is I know the select board was very interested, at least at one time, I don't know if they still are, in electricity usage being captured. And Steve, I don't know where you are on that most recently, and whether that's been able to be put in there, and if it's a number worth doing or what. But what's the latest on electricity? Because I know the board at one point at least was very interested in that, although our waterways initial feeling was just to make sure to not deal with it administratively because it's a mess, and to just make sure that the rest of our structural fees do the job needed. But I do get the sense that the board and maybe some others want us to capture electricity as a line item, but I don't know the latest on that conversation.
So Brian and I discussed it, and we came up with the thought, if you go to the boats on the outer slips, and they go up by that $20 or $30 a foot, at that point, then you don't then chase for the electricity.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That way I don't have to worry who's plugged into what, and
Right.
This guy's plugging in, he sees me coming down the dock, he runs out and takes me.
yeah, okay, so though if we don't add, let's say, $20 for discussion purposes, $20 fee for the outer slips. Following that logic, then we should look at an electricity surcharge.
Could you put in the memo that we're going for next season, not for the 26 season, but for the 27 boating season, we're gonna look at larger or increasing the fees on the outer slips and identify the slips, and that gives Steven some time to put together a structure to move people around if you've got a small boat and an outer slip, and you're like, well, I don't want to pay more because I don't need it, I'll go on the inside.
I like that.
So it just gives him some time. It's more revenue, but it gives Steven time to
I
get
mean, I can
organized.
still get it
Because,
done this year,
oh,
you know,
okay,
that's not a problem.
don't let me stop you.
Well, if I could just, Susan, I'm gonna put you on the
I'll
spot.
go back to throwing you under the bus then.
Yeah, right.
Everybody else does, why,
Because
why should you stop now?
Here's a scenario I don't wanna have happen. But it might happen nonetheless, is we go in before the select board. And we're proposing this. And I think it's very clear that Brian and Nancy have worked things out, and it's not a either or, it's Brian's numbers and Nancy's numbers, and we're good on that. And Steve's been involved in all this. Much as I love every single member of the select board. I would hate for them on the spot to say, well, we gotta have electricity, and why don't we add $3 a foot for everybody who plugs in once a year? Or something else that might be well intentioned, but then could actually not have benefited from ample discourse with the public here or elsewhere. So I just want to make sure that we address the electricity situation, up front. And if we receive guidance, hey, look, really, we would like you to come up with something for electricity, then fine. But we need to know that now, not like on the spot, That's, I'm just afraid of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I do say the guidance from the select board, and obviously I can't speak for everybody, but when we were there before, the guidance on the select board, they were really interested in making sure folks are like, it's a great resource and it's a highly desired resource. And things are desired more than others, right?
Yeah,
Some, like, we also have a golf course where it's costs you more to play on Saturday than Tuesday, right? So like, and I think that the select board is thinking of like making sure folks are paying for, that there's
Yeah.
equity in what they're paying, right? Like if you've got a mooring versus if you've got a slip versus if you have a nicer slip.
Yeah.
And then also the electric, and we do get complaints. I mean, people are like, oh, so-and-so's plugged in all summer and they got the air conditioner going. So like, these are the calls I get from people.
Yeah, sure.
Again, that comes back to equity. I can't plug my 17-foot Boston Whaler in,
Right.
and put my AC on the
Right.
Boston Whaler.
Yeah.
I don't have a Boston Whaler, I'm just
Both
saying.
right.
Yeah.
And the majority of the majority of the slip holders and the folks that have boats, the size has decreased. So it's really like you wanna make sure that, the
Bifurcate.
folks that are entry level,
Have the opportunity.
have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Just like, the folks and that there's a choice, right? Like you can still enjoy the water and it be, so I think that's where the select board, the guidance came to like, hey, let's think about policies that'll get at the fee, paying for what you get
Yeah.
versus like the tax.
That all makes sense with the electricity.
Because of 125, it's like everyone pays,
Yeah,
versus the slip versus the mooring, there's obviously different advantages for each.
understood.
You have to clean your boat a lot less, right?
Yeah, with the electricity, a member of the community at the last meeting, and I've since heard from two other people who've raised this issue as well. Merely being plugged in does not actually give a good indicator of how much you're using,
Oh, right.
because
Yeah, it's perception though, right?
absolutely right. Some people do have, two ACs going all summer and it's their summer house.
Yeah,
And there are other people that are just trickle charging.
Yep.
You know,
completely agree.
regardless of size of the boat. So
The select board is looking at the line item of electricity that has also increased over time,
right.
so.
Does that line item include use of de-icers? Electricity?
Didn't
I
you,
think
you
you said
isolated it
yes.
to summer months, right, Brian?
Yep, I sure did.
It's got both.
Okay,
I sure did.
Yeah, you got both.
So I'll do it's a different Excel, so instead of stopping sharing, going back to it. I worked with Stephen and Nancy on this one. I believe the total number for 7 locations, which includes Town Pier, Ball Parkway, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Harbor Master Building was $32,000 or $35,000. When I identified it to just May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months.
yeah,
it was $7,700 for the two marinas.
Yeah, okay.
So the really high months were sometimes in the winter when we're running the de-icers nonstop, and it's variable. Obviously, a colder month will have a much higher number.
So roughly speaking, you said 7,700 summer months marinas, let's call that 10,000 since prices aren't going down.
Yeah.
So that would be a $10,000. Right, so electricity's not going down, so that's a $10,000 number. If we were to capture all electricity usage at the marinas perfectly in the summers, if I'm understanding you right, that's a $10,000 number.
That is correct. That's, you're forecasting an increase. It
Yeah,
had been
forecasting an
7,800, so call it that.
I'm just rounding
Right.
it.
Jen,
So I just had one comment. I'm really, I'm struggling with this whole better slip than other slips. Cause when you tell, when I think of better, I think of like, if you're going to a hotel, right? You have the choice of what hotel room you pay for, right? You can be on the top level, you can have ocean view, you can have all these different things, and that's what you pay for. When I'm looking at the slips, they're identical for the most part. And I don't get to choose where I put my boat, right? I get put somewhere. So, and of course, obviously, yes, I could, if I had a really big boat, which I don't, but if people have really big boats, yeah, they could say, I'm gonna go and trade out my big boat I have for a small boat, based on his argument. But no, I know, I'm just saying, that was what you
Not your
mentioned.
view, just the
So
numbers.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if you think about it, I get it from a hotel standpoint, where I
Right.
could pick and choose and that I pay for the things that I get. But if you have a certain boat that you own and you wanna be in the harbor, you have to be in a certain spot. And there are, like, all throughout, there are some that are better than others, but if we're gonna get to that granular level, those bigger boats can't go anywhere else but those outer ones. And I would say there is an opportunity. There are a few smaller ones that are on those outer ones that I would say, I don't know why they're out there, because they're, you could manage it that they shouldn't be out there, right? Because you want to get more money for the outer boats, so you should be putting only big ones in the outer ones. But I'm challenged by this, one slip is you're paying for a better slip being on the outer one, which you're really not. I mean, you don't, I would love to be out there, but a bigger boat has to be out there on those outer slips. So we don't really have a choice where your boat goes, and I don't get to say, I want the, ocean view, or I want the upper level. So you just get put where you are based on the size of your boat, really, for the most part, or some other way. So that's my only thing with charging for, based on what you get. I think maybe electric, if you have to increase something else, then something that's a bit more equal would be the electricity, which I kind of feel you're already paying for with the, with the cost of the slip, because it is significantly more than a mooring.
and as you can probably tell with a lot of the members of this board, the costs are very important to us. We understand what the costs are at the various private marinas around and at the yacht clubs. And one thing that we have been consistent with is always trying to be affordable. But the challenge is nowadays, and I know Nancy, Susan and the select board have been just pulling their hair out with the costs of everything. And we're trying to be aware of the needs of our patrons, but also we also have needs as a town to be able to try to make sure that we're able to provide a great facility, a great harbor. So that's why we have to do the dredging. We're looking at other things like the regridding. We've spent that $1 million in upgrading that whole marina. We've got another $1 million project down the road where we want to fix the maritime marina and get that squared up. So everything costs, and we realize in order to make things happen, we're planning. We're going to have to upgrade our rates and our fees, and we're trying to do it in a way that it's not gonna kill everybody, because half the fun for us is to be able to get on our boats and go out there on a beautiful day and enjoy it, and not go, oh God, I gotta go pay another freaking fee. So we're trying to be very aware about that as we're plotting through this. And I can tell you that this has not been one of these sessions where, hey, just throw a number up on the board. We have been battling and working tirelessly. A couple of the guys, two of them on the bookends on this side, have been insanely doing work trying, and Stephen, to try to make sure that we're trying to look at the right way to keep our services strong, but also making sure that we're going to be able to provide a wonderful, safe harbor. So that's what we're trying to deal with. And as I'm glad you guys are here, even the gentleman back there, to be able to see what we're trying to come up with. So we appreciate your thoughts, and we're taking them all very seriously. So that's what we're trying to get to.
I think with a
Ryan, I also,
Stephen,
talked
yeah.
about additional places to get revenue. Town could
Bob,
take back a couple of slips.
I'm sorry?
The town could take back a couple of slips, make them transients. We make an awful lot of money on transient slips.
That brings
Yeah.
up, that brings up a good question.
Huge
Where,
money.
where do we leave off with the transient increase? We talked about $4.
That's, yeah,
Where does that stand? Is that part of this
part of this discussion.
plan to
Yeah.
implement?
Yeah.
As well as the.
Town pier at $100 for transients for commercial fishermen.
Right.
Is that enough? I mean, should we be charging them?
You don't wanna, you'll just price them out, they'll just won't come.
But they're not resident fishermen.
No, this is just,
They're transient
they're
fishermen.
just transient fishermen, they come up and they fish, they sell their catch here.
No, I
They
don't.
work here,
Yeah, is $100 enough?
that's what, I think it's, we're doubling it from 50.
Yeah, but some lawyers charge the foot rate, right?
You know what,
I just
if
wondered
you wanna
if
go
you're
to the recreational rate at the town pier, you're not gonna get anybody, but you can. And it defeats the whole purpose of trying to get people here. I think if we double it from 150 to 100, they're still gonna come. I think if we go to, $150, $3 a foot for, a 70-foot boat, you're not gonna get people. They'll just steam
No,
down
but
the
we
sandwich.
need-
or they'll
But
go into
you're talking
Martinfield.
you're talking two different things. You're talking transient commercial, you're talking transient
No, you're
commercial
talking
and
about
and
commercial,
recreation.
transient
Yeah,
recreation.
and you're blending, which.
No,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
talking about commercial at the end.
Right, I was.
Yeah,
And
so was
what
I.
was going on is, in my mind, are we charging the transients out of towners for the commercial pier enough?
Commercial.
Right. And,
The-
and Steven's saying, well, we're gonna turn them away. Well, now here comes the question, what's the number? What's
I
the
think the number's $100.
No, I don't mean that. How much money does?
No, I'm sorry, I think $100 a night is the number.
No, I get that, but what does that mean for the total year on how much money we draw?
So
It's
it's
kind of like
about-
the argument about
okay,
electricity.
how much does that bring in?
$10,000.
He just mentioned that earlier.
Is
That's
it?
it. That's
Oh,
it.
okay, that's the question.
That's the number.
What's the
I
number?
didn't understand what number you were trying
Yes.
to.
It's like the electricity charge. I mean, we're taking $7,000 and,
No, we went from 5,000 to 10,000.
yeah, okay, that answers it. Now, if we go up with a buckle foot on the transient, that number could be significant.
Right.
Transient
We bring about
recreational?
40,000,
Yes.
we bring about $46,000 at $3 a foot.
Yeah, so now we're gonna go up another buck,
That's
Yeah.
15 grand,
60 grand.
about 15 grand, right?
Yeah.
How does that
And
compare to
the
other?
town took a couple, as they come available, take back a couple more transient, take back a couple of the bigger slips. It's better for the enterprise fund. It's better for downtown because those people are going to dinner, they're spending money, they're buying T-shirts, they're taking their
Yeah,
kids
so,
out.
yeah,
They're doing all sorts of, and they come into town and you just take them out and shake the money right out of their pockets. It's just-
no, he's right.
That's what it's for.
From Asbury Trades has done a survey and they know for every dollar they spend
Oh, yeah.
in the slip fee, they're getting $6 and down.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's huge.
Right.
It's called indirect indirect fees. We do that in aviation all the time. You bring somebody into the airport and it's nice to get the parking and the landing fees, but where we really hope is that they go out and they utilize the town services.
Yeah.
So they start a business in town.
So you wouldn't be kicking
Payroll
anybody
tax.
out, you'd just be when people vacate, you
No,
would then.
No,
take
we would
those
not
for-
reallocate the slip next year. We
Yeah.
would-
You would
We
keep a
would
couple
keep-
open slips.
It would be an unassigned slip, so it'd be easy north, south, east, west, whatever you wanna call them. And they become transient slips. For the year.
Roughly
Susan.
per slip, what does that bring in?
Do we figure out roughly?
Per
It-
slip?
it's a
Just
whole
wondering
lot.
what a per slip increase that would be.
No, because it's when
One, two, four.
there's no. We tried by pulling DACA down, information
Yeah, I
down.
remember that.
But it was blended in with the moorings.
It was blended in the mornings. I did a pivot table, dropped out that, it just got a little,
Is it 5,000, you think, per slip? Two
Probably more-
thousand?
No,
could be.
more than that.
no, if you wanna be conservative, yeah, maybe.
And that's at $3 a foot.
Yeah, it's on the table.
Should be more than
And then-
5,000
Then they're
because,
paying electricity.
should be more than 5,000 because if it's a big slip, break even would be,
Yes,
if we charge them right now,
I think it's.
4,000, right? So
so,
you
yeah,
wanna be
so
looking at 10.
we're talking about raising that to $1 plus including an electrical fee
We already
as well.
have an electrical fee already. $10 a night for a 30 amp. It's
Yep.
$15 a night for a 50 amp. Or $15 a night for 2 30 amps.
And they are out of town.
Stephen, say the, more desirable, you're on the Cole Parkway side.
It is.
The grand-
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know what? We still rent Maritime Center. When we know they're available, we still rent them.
They have to walk around, make that mile and a 1.2 mile walk.
It's a lovely.
It is. I love
Some
that
people-
walk.
Look at the comments on DACA about the marina. Take a look sometime.
So,
Well,
All 4 stars.
oh,
Across the
it better
board.
be. I mean, Susan, go ahead.
Electricity, if you don't mind. You know, you do have people that have trickle charges, you have people that have pacemakers and everything else running the AC 24/7, so. There's a lot of variables there. The only way to really do it is meterize everything, and you can't do it. It's not cost effective.
Right.
And you got variables and people wanted to be on the Cole Parkway side instead of the Maritime Center side. You have a 17-foot whale that could get 21 feet in that same slip. You have outside slips that make the most value of your linear footage on the dock. So many variables, for those slip increases that we talked about, along with the use fee, meet our goals. To keep it simple, we've gone up twice or 3 times in cost across the board. Why don't we just keep it that way? And whatever the number is, we go there.
Because we're staring at $250,000 plus debt obligations for dredging.
I get it. What's the number we have to increase? What do we have to increase the
That's,
per foot size? All right, let's just.
that's what we're trying to get
That's what
to.
we're-
Going up
Oh, you're
Working
done,
towards.
done. I'm sorry, you're saying do it immediately once,
Well, just
do
do
30,
what you need to do.
30%
but just
1 year?
Board, instead of having 10 different things on the menu, listen, everybody, the water's going up X.
Mhm.
Your hobby use fee's going up for everybody X. Your transit fee's gonna go up X, and everybody has a slip is gonna go up X. What number does that have to be? And just keep it the way we've done it in the past, everybody goes up the same. Instead of having an a la carte and having all these arguments and complaints about people coming up to Stephen, this is what it is, I only use.
You mean like a flat
trickle
percent?
charge.
What
I use
percent increase do we need?
per year.
Yeah.
Susan.
Interesting idea.
It is.
I just wanted to circle back one more thing on the transient, the $1, so it's $1 on the shoulder season, and then we're proposing $4 through
Right
the
now,
season.
it's $3 a night.
Right, great, and we're proposing a
Go to
dollar.
$4.
So it would be $4, and the reason why I had originally asked for the data on like when are people using it is like, it would be great to know like what are, like the highest months and then maybe
Highest
go
months are-
higher, maybe. I don't know, some of the towns do like $3 here, $4 here, they have it, and then they kind of average.
July and
So
August,
there's no-
$5 if you want.
Belonging to
a
the
little bit off of the season, July and August is like
$5.
$4.50, I'm just making stuff up, and then $3 on a not shoulder.
I just didn't
the
wanna
other side of
Freak
the-
people out.
Making
and
more people in.
everything.
It's over $3 to $5.
Well, you get the program.
$4.
Yeah.
Just a thought, I saw it on some of the other towns.
It goes to use fuel.
Yeah. It might be an attraction if we're just under where other.
Mr. Murray,
To Murph's point, what if we just put 10% up this year and 10% every other year until the number works? What does that do?
For everybody,
Yeah,
everything.
just across the board. Aaron. Prices are going up. It's a percent.
I have to redo this because
I know.
two of the threes are in dollar and one's in a
Yeah, but
percentage.
roughly speaking, if you put in,
Instead of.
let's just
another
put in a
small
dollar
percent.
figure that's roughly 10% now,
Mm.
right?
Right?
So,
And we can go home.
no, but just, I'm just wondering what that,
We've always done it, it's.
TJ's got his hand up.
So 20% would be waterway use fee. So that would be down to $12 if it's 10%.
Yeah,
Right? So we're going the wrong direction on that.
yeah, TJ's got his hand up though.
TJ,
Hey, Mr. Chairman, thank you, Rick. Just to confirm, so the waterway usage fee, that is distributed across the private marinas and yacht clubs as well, because as we talk about these big capital projects, dredging, like everybody, not just town slip and mooring holders, benefit from kind of what we're paying as town marina patrons or slip holders. So just want to make sure that, first of all, that's clarified in the group. Our audience does know that that is spread across, but is there any way to leverage and I would hate to say increase prices. I know we can't do that for a private enterprise such as the private marinas, but is there any way we can leverage funding from our private marinas to kind of help the overall effort? Because, like I just mentioned, everybody kind of benefits from, the dredging and the other projects that we have going on, pump out stations and so forth. Just throwing that out for discussion.
Most of the dredging is taking place at Cole Parkway Marina and the Situate Maritime Center.
Okay, so there's nothing on the shoulder as you come kind of in that gated
Yeah.
buoy by Mill Wharf?
Not
That's
really.
okay.
I mean, there may be a little bit here and there, but it's not, it's not inside TPG's footprint. It's not inside Bowman's footprint. It's not inside Deneen's footprint. Different Deneen.
I know.
Okay, I stand corrected then. Thanks.
It's basically around the town pier. It's Cole Parkway Marina, the Maritime Center, and then down to the back ramp where the fishermen have their boats. And it goes to the boat ramp in Cole Parkway parking lot. Now, those are the four areas.
Yep.
All right, great, thanks.
Thank you, TJ. So what's the pleasure?
Ryan's just been doing some numbers.
Uh-oh.
So if we go up 10 every other year, starting in 27, marinas, buck every year, starting in 26. We go up 25, 3 years, starting 26. We're there until we get out to 32.
And that's 5
And-
years
and
from now,
that's
and that's when
right.
you look at it again.
And that's that. So I just threw that up. We can certainly massage that. There's one other thing, and I hate to throw a variable out there, but basically we have two buckets for dredging. We have some authorized debt that the 65,000 that we're gonna use on one of the dredging projects. But the other two, the 375 and the 1.5 million, again, I think that's a high number. If the reality is that the harbor dredge is not gonna commence in 28, if we push that out.
Yeah.
Right? Then obviously everything looks a lot better.
I think if we end up getting the permits this spring, which I think we probably will, we probably start in the fall. Cause you don't want.
Okay,
You
No,
don't want.
I'm just
to
throwing
go
that
out to
out.
bid
Up,
and then
Stephen,
find out you
you're
don't.
the expert on it. I'll
you-
take your word for it. I'm just throwing
You
it
don't
out.
have bid, let's say you get bidders. Or you wait a couple of years, your permits are only good for X number of years.
Yep.
Even though they're gonna be 10 years, there's a lot of parts of the permit that don't make the 10 years, that drop off.
I
You
got
gotta redo them again.
I'm just was putting out there, the likelihood or the probability that we'll be doing both in the exact same year.
Oh, we're not doing both at the same time.
That's how the debt service is structured.
I mean, we haven't even started permitting the South River
So you believe that South River
That's-
would be,
further down.
29.
So the debt service is structured that way from
Nancy,
Nancy. So, did you get that? So. That he has said that we're not dredging. both
I
of
don't
these-
know.
Right, but the chances of us dredging both of
I
these at the
can't see
same
the Army
time.
Corps all of a sudden
But it-
whipping out
Yeah,
and coming in and say, oh.
but our
South
debt
River too?
structure.
Sure.
I got you, but the debt structure via Nancy is structured that way, that they're both gonna happen at the same time. At the earliest possible time, because we're being very conservative here as we blend the system. So this is where this is
I don't
really.
wanna mess with Nancy's numbers, all right? I really don't wanna mess with Nancy's numbers.
I understand. No, I understand.
No, I don't wanna mess with Nancy's numbers.
No, I'm just saying just to be aware. I'm saying just to be
No,
aware.
That's fine. I'll
I
stay
don't wanna mess with
Nancy's
them either,
numbers.
but I think the likelihood that A, the permits are both simultaneous. B, we get grants for both projects in the same year. Is pretty slim, very rare. But I have no problems projecting it this way. I just think the likelihood is one of those two projects will slide out a year.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Kind of what I was saying.
Can
Go
you,
ahead.
can you scroll down and show us what the numbers are gonna be, what everybody's gonna pay for a slip and,
Yes, I will.
we can figure the waterways.
Right, so that's with all the adjustments that we just did, right, over each year. Grand number will be. Oh, it's frozen, Brian. There's your grand number, and I'll make it a little bigger for people out there. I just want to have all of it on the same page before. Current. I have it out to 30 on moorings, obviously. Yep.
And you're up to $200 on the waterway.
You-
And 160 for a resident slip.
That's sort of following Murph's suggestion of. Equitable across the board, everything seems to be going up by. Same factor.
We certainly can do that.
Well,
It's gonna take a little while for me to redo this. I mean, I don't waste everybody's time here, but it'd probably take me about half an hour. So. If you want,
Well, to double check it and to see
right,
if it's what we want.
you want, you can run through everything. Yeah, no, I think we're almost done. Right, I'm looking at the agenda.
So-
I mean, one thing we haven't talked about is, I mean, we have expenses going up 5% each year, can we?
You wanna take it out of my pocket?
Yeah.
No, take it on Mike's. Sorry, Mike.
Not your pocket, but I mean, look at what,
Cost of goods go up. Oh.
well, maybe we pull back on services, maybe, we sell a boat, I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
We cut back on some of the times, operating hours.
Times or staffing, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of things, but. If your revenue is going up 1% a year and your expenses are going up 5% a year, that's really not a way to run a business.
That's not right.
That's why we're here.
That's why the select board increased rates last year. Cause we saw it coming.
Maybe you go 12%.
What's the pleasure of the board? I know we've been banging around. I'm sure everybody's getting tired.
I'm exhausted.
Does the board want to have the numbers redone, sent out, get together next week and make a decision?
You're right on top of Sherry's
I know,
timeframe.
I know.
She wants stuff by Tuesday.
Yep.
Monday.
Today's
Is it gonna
Wednesday.
work? Will this work? 10%?
Pardon me?
Will the 10% bring you up to where you need to be?
Well,
You mean by
10% like.
Equalizing everybody
Yeah.
to the same level and trying it at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know. I'll call Chief Murphy. He'll come over with a case of beer and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, second that.
One final thought. When I
Good,
look
Paul.
at increasing the mooring by $1 a year.
Hmm.
I think you guys are locked into increments of $1. When technology allows that not to be gated by such a large incremental change. I mean, you could charge a mooring $1.50 to increase it,
But it's just,
could be, it's work number of smaller.
I know it seems, we don't have an administrative assistant, and now you're talking about change, and it just makes it,
But you got a
More and more
computer and a spreadsheet.
it's a,
Yeah.
but it's not when you send out a million
Okay,
bills.
so my point, if you look at $1 on 8, it's 12.5%. When you go from 11 to 12, it's less than 10%. So
But we're talking about just,
inflating percentages and dollars, incremental dollars, you're doing what you. It's kind of construed. But maybe it needs to be complicated because the office doesn't have the computer.
we have computers, it's just, it's collecting of the fees and
Still
It-
collecting
it's-
cash,
we,
and some people paying cash, right?
Not
we
anymore.
don't allow.
No,
Oh, you don't-
it's all stopped.
No.
We don't, but it's also, you're typing into a computer, then you're adding
What do I
up
do?
pennies.
So,
So I'm sitting there and I get 1,000,
Whether we run these numbers on a plane.
I have to fill
Yeah,
out
let's-
the
let's
deposit.
Yes.
But
So-
Then we'll have to meet next Monday.
And then.
Yeah.
you
so
make
here,
Mistakes,
Yep, do
you
it.
know,
Yeah.
it's hard enough keeping it straight with dollars,
Hold on, it's Monday.
Right, it's gonna be
You
the
gotta
problem.
post it by tomorrow.
unless you just round every.
that's okay.
Up
Okay,
to
just
$1.
Okay.
bring it up, right?
Here's the plan. We're going to clean things up. We're gonna go across the board. Thanks, John. We're gonna try to get everybody together, hopefully on Monday night. I just gotta get an agenda posted. It'll be remote. And we'll be able to have the updated numbers and make a decision so that we can get it to Sherry for Tuesday.
I think a one agenda item waterways meeting, can post it real quick,
Mhm.
discussion. And I think just to make sure we're all on board, I make sure you list potential vote on the agenda or whatever the language is.
Yeah, I talked with Mike Gibbons about it to make sure that, yeah, we put the correct verbiage on.
Yeah.
So then, Rick, does that give you enough time to
You and me.
fill it? I'm gonna be in Florida, you're gonna be up here, we can do a Zoom.
Yeah.
But to get everything done by Tuesday. I don't know how hard and fast,
Yeah, I can revise the
Sure,
memo
yeah.
part once we have the numbers.
okay?
Yeah.
Monday night, we
Yeah, it's all
come to
roughed out.
consensus on numbers. Then we can let it rip, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do we also on Monday want to go and upgrade the transient fees as well and say hit everything?
Everything.
That's already,
Well, that's already.
They're all
you guys
done?
all agreed to that.
Oh, good. We did. I'm sorry, I forgot what I had for breakfast.
so I think what Dave's saying is somehow massage it in the overnight tie-ups to show a greater, because right now I got a 1% or 1.5, so that's what? $400? We're looking, no, so if it's $46,000. 1% would be $460, right?
$1 a foot.
I know that. What I'm saying though is if we're going from 3 to 4.
Yep.
And we assume that it's $45,000, that's $15,000 per dollar theoretically, so it would go up to 60,000 if it was 4. Is my math following everybody here?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But
It would have been
if it goes to
8
6,
o'clock.
right, but if it goes to 60. I'm only projecting $460. Because I'm doing 1% growth. So if you want me to play with this and try to figure a number in there.
You're not gonna do the 1% for this, for the trans.
So the transients, we're leaving it at $1 a foot. Don't mess with, and we're leaving it at $50 for the
Correct.
commercial.
So we have different numbers. We're not gonna be,
Just
it's not gonna be a percentage.
For the slips.
for the slips, moorings, et cetera.
But transients are easy, because you just plug it in, right?
You understand what I'm
It's
saying?
all electronic, and,
Yeah, but we,
yeah, I'm just.
So what I'm doing here is,
Just leave it at a buck.
This is the mad scientist over here to my left. Brian, are you-
so my projections of 1% are based upon total revenue, right?
hey, I'll go get them.
right? At 1%. However,
I'll get them.
Well,
Not a good tipper, they complain, I never get a good rating.
well, thank you, Susan.
Appreciate it, and then also the 16th is the select board meeting, which is a public meeting, so anyone can come and give their opinion too.
Yep.
So, thank you all,
Thank you.
great conversation, appreciate it.
And just so everybody knows, especially our folks in the middle here, we're just recommending. The final decision is the select board.
That's. fall.
So, and again, we've been really trying to make sure, as I pontificated on earlier, we're trying to do things in a respectable way that's gonna be good for patrons.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's all we can do is we can just sort of, yeah, recommend.
I'm not.
Okay.
And would
Brian's?
Recommendation
Are we
would
done?
be to move that, I know he said the license, there's some permitting issues, but to, what's your name?
Frank.
Frank.
No,
Brian,
It's not
Brian.
Frank. Is even to look to see if that could be moved out so that you don't have
I'm
the,
going to do that, just understand the
Yeah.
impact, and
yeah,
how it does it.
yeah.
So
that makes
that's,
sense.
I think that's gonna be our plan, Brian, and
Yeah.
Brian, you good with that? Rick, you're good with that? Okay,
Remote guys.
Oh,
over there?
been on this meeting now?
well, we just got a couple quick, really, I mean, but I appreciate everybody's efforts. I mean, this is something that has been going on and taking the time to make sure we get it right. By having good inclusion, very important. So thank you for
I
that.
can stop doing it.
Liaison reports, I continue to meet with the Economic Development Commission and give them updates on what we're doing in terms of various marketing events around the harbor. I check in with Bierce once in a while and he tells me to get away from him. Cole Parkway Redevelopment Committee, they met with the select board. They had chosen alternate one. If you want to see what that looks like, you can go to the Scituate website. And they've got that whole plan on the site. And the renderings look pretty good. I think I like the one that has been chosen. Shellfish Advisory Committee, Mike was unable to make it tonight, Mike DeMayo. David, you wouldn't have any updates or anything on shellfish, would you? David Sinkowski?
leave.
You had to leave. That's a negative, even quicker. Does anybody have any new business? Very good. There is no old business. We don't have a police representative here. We don't have a fisherman. We don't have a lobsterman. Would anybody else that's been here have any more comments, questions, anything else?
Just say thank you for your time and dedication to this. It's tough. You're doing well.
Great, thank you, Paul. We appreciate you guys being here. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Again, I'd like to thank Katie for being here.
Thank you, Katie.
Do a roll call.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, huh?
thanks, Steve.
Roll call's done.
Roll call. Oh, God.
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Brian, Rick, Steven, Howie, Dave. Good night, thank you. TJ,
All right. Have a good evening.
thank you, TJ. Thank you, Seth. We'll